Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's topic is going to be cadaveric spasm, in which I'll be discussing introduction, the muscles that are involved and the medico-legal importance. If you want this PPT, then it is available on my website. You can go check that out. Link is there in the description box. Along with that, all the other PPTs are also available there. So let's get started. Basically, cadaver is a term that is used for dead bodies, whereas spasm is basically stiffening. So, cadaveric spasm in short means stiffening of dead body, but it is not rigor mortis. Now, the cadaveric spasm is a condition in which the muscles of the body, which were in a state of contraction immediately before death, continues to be so after death without passing through the stage of primary relaxation. So cadaveric spasm is basically like instantaneous rigor mortis. In rigor mortis, the stiffening of muscles occur, right? But there are different stages, like first there is primary relaxation, then there is stiffening, then there is secondary relaxation. But in case of cadaveric spasm, there is instantaneous stiffening. It is not rigor mortis, because rigor mortis takes place 1 to 2 hours after death, but this one, cadaveric spasm, it occurs instantaneously. In cadaveric spasm, the contraction is occurring, it is immediate, and it continues to be so after death without passing through the stage of primary relaxation. Now, it occurs especially in the cases of sudden death, excitement, fear, severe pain, exhaustion, electrocution, injury to the nervous system, firearm wound, etc. So these are all the cases. Basically, we are going to see the cadaveric spasm in cases in which the victim or the person who has died is going through some kind of vigorous physical activity that includes the muscles of hand mostly before the death. Like if the person is trying to fight the culprit to save his life, or if the person is drowning. For example, in the case of drowning, the hand may firmly grip the sand, mud, gravel, weed which are present in the pond or lake from the body was recovered. So look here in this picture. This basically is a picture of person who drowned. So while someone is drowning, he'll try to grasp each and everything that's around him in order to save himself from drowning. So due to that, what happens is, now, by grasping the sand or the mud, he obviously is not going to save himself, but still he's going to try. And due to this rigorous activity, now when the person dies, his hands stay the same way with the grass, weed, gravel in his hand, and the hand is going to stay that way after the death also. Also, in case of firearm or stab injury over an approachable vital part of the body, the pistol/knife may be firmly grasped in the victim's hand, as you can see here in this picture, that the pistol is basically grasped in the hand of the victim, and this is a strong presumptive evidence of suicide. Although attempts may also be made to stimulate this kind of condition in order to conceal a murder, but the rigor mortis does not produce the same firm grip of a weapon as is there in the cadaveric spasm. Now let's talk about the muscles involved here. It originates by normal nervous stimulation of the muscles. It is usually limited to single group of voluntary muscles and is frequently involved, and frequently it involves the hand. Mostly it is seen in the hand area, because we are going to use our hands to protect ourselves, right? So mostly it is seen in hand area. Occasionally the whole body might also be affected, as is seen in soldiers shot in the battlefield, when the body may retain the posture which it assumed at the moment of death. A great force is required to overcome this cadaveric stiffness. It passes without interruption into normal rigor mortis, and then it disappears when the rigor mortis disappears. Now, the medical legal importance in homicidal cases, the deceased may grasp some kind of clothing, button, foreign hair of the silent with whom he had a struggle prior to death. Cadaveric spasm being an antemortem phenomena. So there are two phenomena, that is antemortem and postmortem. Antemortem means before death and postmortem means after death. Reflects the last act of the subject, right, performed before and at the time of his death. The cause and the manner of death may be judged by the positioning of the hand, by the things that are grasped in the hand. In case of drowning, as I told, the hand may have firm grip of sand, mud, gravel, etc. In case of firearm, also I have told that there might be pistol or knife that is grasped in the victim's hand, which is a strong presumptive evidence for suicide. So this was all about cadaveric spasm. I hope you understood what that is. If you found the video to be useful, then please like this video, share it with your friends, and also subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you.